Hey, it's David Johnston from SmudgeCat Games here. I've just released a Gateways editor as a beta, so I thought it might be a good idea to record a little video to show people roughly how the editor's used and the sort of things you can do when you're creating levels. So this view is what you're presented with when you first start up the editor. You're given a default map, something to sort of get you going, start working on. Basically a very small walled area. It's got a save point in there, which is where the player will start the game. And this other object is a golden orb. This was a new object that's been added, and it's the objective for all user-generated levels. It's what you're trying to collect in order to complete the level. You can see as I'm moving around, the different objects, different parts of the map are getting highlighted, and the different objects as well. The number above the object is its ID, which is quite often referred to in the game. In order to pan the view around, you can hold down the space bar and click and drag. That sort of pans you around. Or if you scroll the mouse wheel, that zooms you in and out. So I'm just going to use this video to create a very, very simple level. I'm going to create a little room to the right here that's behind a door. And I'm going to put a switch there that the player can stand on in order to open the door. So I'm going to start by deleting these walls here. So I'll just highlight them and right click in order to get rid of them. And then I'm going to recreate some walls there by going to the select texture option in the edit menu. And this brings up the texture that's used in Gateways. It has all the graphics on it that go in the map. So I'm going to select this basic wall texture, which in the main view lets me left click and drag in order to create walls. I'm just going to create a little wall here, so to make a little room at the back, and then fill that in. I just need to right click to dismiss that, and then I get back to the view where I can select things and delete things. So one part that's missing there is the background texture in here. I've got the walls in place, but there's no background, and I can't select these ones either. That's because the background is on a separate layer. And in order to activate the background layer, I have to go into this background mode from the edit menu. If I select that, then I can see the foreground is faded out, and I can select these background textures. So I'm going to select the standard background texture and just fill that in there, and then return back to the normal mode. So I can see now that I've got the background in there, as you would expect. So now I'm going to create the door and the switch down here. So I'll go to objects. Let's list all the objects that you can create in the game. So I'll go to add door, drag that over and put that in position. Do the same with the switch. All objects that get created are put in the middle of the screen, and you can drag them where they want them. So there I have the door and the switch where I want them. In order to connect up the switch to the door so that standing on it actually opens this door, I need to use its ID. So I know the switch's ID is number 4. So if I double click the door, then I get its pop-up menu, and I just need to put the number 4 in there to tell it that switch opens it. So once I've done that, once the player stands on there, the door will open. The switch has got its own little pop-up menu as well, where you can set what type of switch it is. A normal switch. Just the player stands on it and the door will open. If they step off, the door will close again. A one-off one is if the player stands on it, then the door will always be open forevermore. A timed one, then you can set a value for how long the door will stay open before it closes again. One thing you can do in the Gateways editor, which is always very handy, is the ability to undo. If you do Control Z, then you can undo all your actions. And Control Y redoes everything again. Always quite handy in case you make a bit of a mistake. One thing I'm going to do now is make the level look a bit more interesting, because this is just sort of basic wall texture here. You can see that in Gateways you normally get this sort of concrete texture around the edge. You can do that in the normal way by selecting it from the menu and then pasting it into the level. But doing this for a whole map tends to get a little bit laborious. So I've got this option, which is an auto edge map, which if you select, it sort of creates a randomized concrete texture around the whole map, which does save a lot of time. I'm also going to add a little bit of detail to the background. So select a few of the little splats that go on the wall. Just put a few of those in. I'll select this machine as well and put that there. Just make the level seem slightly more interesting. Gateways does have a collision map as well, which you can activate by selecting collision mode here, and you can see it highlights the. You can see where the solid tiles are, which is where the walls are. In general, I'd hope you wouldn't have to bother with that too much, because there is this auto update collision map mode, which, as you can see, as I put these walls in here and deleted parts of the walls, it's automatically updated where you would what tiles you would expect to be solid. But you can disable that if you would like to make other things solid, which wouldn't normally expect to be solid, or make secret passages into walls. So there is that option there if you'd rather do that. One thing for this level in particular is in order to solve this puzzle, you're going to need the gateway gun. I'll move that in there because that's part of the puzzle, is to get in there to get the golden orb. Which obviously when you start the main game you don't have the gateway gun, but in the editor you can set the starting conditions. So I can set how many jump boosts I've got and what save point you start in. So in this instance I'm going to set the gateway gun as one of the starting items. So as soon as you start the game you'll automatically have the gateway gun. So that's probably enough, so I'm going to give that a try now in the game. So here's the level in the game. As you can see, everything is as it should be. If I stand on this switch, then the door opens, as you would expect. Don't have time to run through the door there, but thankfully I've start with the gateway gun, so I can put a gateway there and one there, and get through into the area where the golden orb is. One of the nice features of the editor is that you can actually make changes to the map while it's being played in the game. So if I jump back over to the editor, and I can't see it in the video, but I'm just going to put down a help point and save the file. You can see that it then immediately appears in the game. I can use this help point to record a solution to this puzzle. Anyone who's played the main game will know that all the puzzles have a help point beside them, and if you pay enough orbs, then you get a solution to the puzzle. So in the editor, you can actually, if you're editing one of your own levels, you can actually record the solution. So if I push back just now, you'll see the recording symbols appeared at the bottom left there. So all my actions are now going to be recorded. So if I create those gateways and go through here and push back to stop the recording, that's now saved that recording back into the map file. So if I go here and actually view the solution, it will replay back the actions that I've just done. So you can see that by making you can make changes in the editor, and then you can do the recordings in the game, and everything gets automatically updated. So it makes for quite a speedy process for developing the levels. So I hope some of you will at least give the Gateways editor a try, and I'll be really interested to see what kind of levels people come up with. Thanks for watching.